day and welcome to AGK's Music Life. I'm your host, Anthony K. And it is April 12th, 2025. It is 8:09 a.m. That can only mean one thing for record enthusiasts. It's Record Store Day. That's right. I know I don't do a lot of record videos for my channel anymore. I'm bringing you guys lots of concerts, live films of concerts lately. But one video I will always make for you guys is Record Store Day in April, and of course the Black Friday Record Store Day in November. And it's that time again, and this time we are in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, and my first stop on this year's Record Store Day is PCV Records. I've brought you guys here many times before, and I'm back here again. Normally I hit PCV at the end of my Record Store Day, but this time, as you can see by the lineup there, I am hitting them first this year just to be different. I'm just gonna look for some parking here, and then we will head in. I will get in the lineup, and I've never lined up at PCV before for Record Store Day. I'll show up a couple hours into it. This year I thought I would try PCV. They opened at 8 o'clock, so they've just been open about 10 minutes, and it looks like I'm gonna line up and have some fun here on Record Store Day. And we'll see you guys on the inside here at PCV Records in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. So as you can see, I'm in my car again. I didn't take you guys inside PCV today because it was an absolute zoo in there. I was literally in a line for a couple hours, something I am not used to doing on Record Store Day. The line was inside the store. They were doing things different this year that I was unaware of. When you went through the door, they took your order, picked your records for you, and I didn't even know what I wanted, so it was all a very confusing mess. I did get a bunch of things. The few things that I really did want, I did get, and I picked up a few other spur-of-the-moment things. But yeah, they did things different this year. Normally when I go to PCV, the line's all finished with, and I just pick through what's there. It's normally my last stop, but because I made it my first stop, there was a lineup to get in. It took me about 45 minutes to get in the door, but then there was a line that went wound through the store that literally took me a couple hours to go just wait through the line, and I had to literally look at the wall, tell them what I want. They wrote it on a list, but I couldn't even see half the things because they were on the other side of the store. So it was a rather confusing mess. But I did get the couple of items that I really knew before I got there that I wanted, and some other things that I saw that like I said, I got spur of the moment. We're on our way to Port Credit. Maybe I'll be able to take you guys inside there. I don't know. We'll see when I get there. And I will show you guys later in this video what I picked up at PCV. I think I got around 8 items, something like that. And I picked up something that wasn't a Record Store Day release at all. I will see you guys in a few minutes again, either from inside the record store or at home showing you what I got. So I'm back from the record stores. My little travelogue video that I did there didn't really show you hardly anything because, like I said, it was a zoo in PCV Records, so I didn't film anything in there. And I dropped into Rick's Recollections, which is normally my first stop from people that have watched my videos in previous years go, and I just didn't feel like filming in Rick's. Rick wasn't feeling too well, so I thought it best not to film in Rick's. He was a little bit under the weather. So that being said, here I am home again, and I got quite a stack of stuff. This year I did not pre-plan my shopping, other than making kind of a mental note of like 2 things that I really wanted. Actually 3, I guess, that I really wanted. And I had no problem getting all 3 of them. And then, as I do every year, I bought like another 10 things just by perusing what was available. And so let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. The first thing I picked up was a spur of the moment thing. They were walking up and down the line outside PCB Records, and like, who's here for the Taylor Swift? Who's here for the Taylor Swift? And I said, you know what? Why not? If they've got one, because we all know, record goers, that the Taylor Swift releases on Record Store Day are a highly prized item. They sell out instantly. They are end up being worth a fortune. And he had a handful of them, and he was walking down the line going, these are the last of the Taylor Swift, so who here in the line is looking for Taylor Swift? And I just said, well, you know, I might as well grab one. So I managed to score a copy of the Taylor Swift Fortnight featuring Post Malone 7-inch single, which, and I even looked it up while I was standing in line, while the guy was passing to me. I looked it up on Discogs, and they were going for like $110 or something. And I told the guy, you know, these are already going for 110. He's like, yeah, well, here you go. I just paid normal price for it, but there you go. Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone Fortnight. I don't know if I'll open it or not. I mean, I like Taylor. I've got just about all her albums. I'm a fan. I'll admit it. I'm a fan. So to score a RSD, Taylor Swift is a rare occurrence. So I thought I'd just grab one. I got one of the last couple copies they had. So Taylor Swift Fortnight featuring Post Malone 7-inch single. That was a spur of the moment. All these are, like I said, were spur of the moment buys, other than the three that I will tell you which ones they were. The next one is from Record Store Day Canada. Canada, of course, has their own Record Store Day list, and there's always a dozen or so titles that are Canada exclusive Record Store Days. This is one that popped out for me when it was on the wall there, and I was standing in the line at PCB, deciding what to buy. Biff Naked and Champion. This is a Record Store Day Canada release. Biff Naked and her album Champion. I don't know if this is on any sort of colored vinyl or anything, but Biff Naked, rocker, punk rocker. Did this have an original date? This is 2025. I don't remember what the original recording date of this album was. But yeah, Biff Naked, if those who are familiar with Canadian artists will know Biff Naked. From, I guess she was in the 80s, very popular artist from the 80s. There you go, Champion by Biff Naked. Grabbed that. The next up is one that was on my list. I guess it would be one of four. Actually, there were four that were on my list. Now just looking at the pile. The next one is Black Sabbath, The Eternal Idol. The Record Store Day exclusive, new remaster from Analog Tapes, limited edition translucent ruby vinyl. So one I didn't have in my Black Sabbath collection. So The Eternal Idol. This was the Record Store Day release of that album. So happy to pick that one up. They had quite a few copies. It wasn't hard to get at all. So happy to pick that one up. Next was another one that was on my list of things that I definitely wanted to get this Record Store Day. And of course, people know I am a big Cure fan. So this is the Cure Alone 4-Tet remix. And it was pricey. For a 12-inch single, this was pretty pricey, but I am a big Cure fan. Try to be a somewhat Cure completist. So the Cure and Alone, of course, which was from their brand new album, and this was the 12-inch remix. So happy to grab this 12-inch remix of the Cure's Alone. Next was one that I remember being on the list, and this was a spur of the moment buy. I'm a Gilmour fan. I'm a big David Gilmour fan. So I decided this was a last minute buy. This one I actually picked up at Rick's Recollections on my second stop, though I did see it at PCB. I didn't grab it at PCB, but then when I saw it again at Rick's, I decided I would indeed grab this one. And it was David Gilmour with Romany Gilmour and Between 2 Points. This is the 12-inch exclusive crystal clear vinyl edition, featuring the live from Royal Albert Hall version, the Gentry remix, the Gentry remix edit, and of course the album version, of course taken from his latest studio album. So this was a spur of the moment buy. The second time around when I saw this, I decided to grab it. David Gilmour 12-inch single. Next was one that I decided to grab. It wasn't on my list, but I always get the tall releases every record store day. And this is actually one of my favorite periods in the tall library. I'm a big Heavy Horses fan. It's kind of my favorite, tied as my favorite Tall album. So this is from that generation. This is Jethro Tull, Songs from the Vault, 1975 to 78. Includes rarities and outtakes, 2 LP recycled black vinyl. So I'm always happy to pick up the Tall releases. I've picked up pretty much every record store day Tall release since whenever. So happy to pick that one up. It wasn't on my list, but they were in plentiful supply. So happy to grab that and for my Tall collection. This is another one that wasn't on my must-have list. I vaguely remember it being on the list, but I am a big Kylie Minogue fan, huge Kylie Minogue fan. I went to see Kylie when she played here in Toronto a couple of weeks ago. I went to see her in concert, and I noticed that her sister Dani Minogue, Neon Nights Remixed was there, and this was the last copy, and I decided to grab it. It was the last copy they had, Dani Minogue, Neon Nights Remixed, and this is reworks from Corpy and Black Cell, Roger Sanchez, Initial Talk, Project K, Luke Mornay, and more on clear blue vinyl. It's a collection of remixes. That's right, it's a collection of remixes of her songs. So happy to have that. They only got a couple of copies of this in, so I was happy to score one copy of that to add to my collection. Dani Minogue, Neon Nights Remixed. Next is the next one that was on my must-have list. This would have been the third one on my must-have list, along with The Cure and the Black Sabbath. This would be definitely number one, probably most wanted of this year's list. Everybody knows I get the Ramones releases every record store day. I've got every Ramones release ever released on record store day, and finally this album on vinyl and in my collection. Their final live album, Loco Live, Ramones live in Spain in 1991, U.S. version of their second live album on vinyl for the very first time, 2 LP set on blue and red vinyl. Ramones Loco Live, it's a real, I have this on CD, and this is the first time on vinyl, so really, really happy. Getting close to having everything the Ramones ever released on vinyl. There's still a couple things they have not released on vinyl yet. So I'm sure in record store days to come, they will get around to releasing them. But yeah, the Ramones Loco Live. Fantastic live outing from the Ramones. Next up was another spur of the moment buy. And this was the second time I saw this. I saw this album in PCV. I didn't jump on it. And then when I went to Rick's, this is the second of 3 things I got at Rick's. And decided the second look to grab it because I do have a lot of the Rolling Stones, not all of them, but I have a lot of the Rolling Stones record store day releases, and I don't have this album, the original of this album, in my collection. And people know I'm a big Rolling Stones fan. Mostly the 60s stuff and 80s stuff. Those are my 2 decades of Stones I like more than anything. So happy to get this one out of our heads. The Rolling Stones exclusive limited edition 180 gram clear vinyl, mastered directly from the original analog monotape to lacquer. Includes a lithograph of the original tape box notes. Rolling Stones, out of our heads. So first time I have this, and I guess this is a mono mix. First time I've had this album in my Stones collection. So happy to add this to my Stone collection. Next up is one that I'd seen on the list, and when I saw it in the store, I decided to jump on it. I'm a reggae fan. I like a lot of reggae stuff. A big Bob Marley fan for sure. And then when I saw this one, I said, I'm going to pull the trigger on this one. This is Peter Tosh Greatest Hits limited edition, pressed on tricolor green, gold, and red vinyl. Record store day exclusive. Peter Tosh Greatest Hits, another fabulous reggae artist from back in the day. Peter Tosh Greatest Hits. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. This was one I pulled the trigger on. This was a spur of the moment buy. I remember seeing it on the list, and then when I saw it in the store at PCB, I decided to pull the trigger on it. This is The Secret Life of the Veronicas. That's right, the Veronica. It's first time on vinyl worldwide. 20th anniversary limited edition, pressed on ultra clear vinyl. Includes gold certified single forever. And I noticed quite a few of these pressings today that I got from Record Store Day are on clear vinyl. Quite a few of them. So another one on clear vinyl, the Veronicas. Spur of the moment buy after looking it over. Yeah. It was in the back of my mind to check it out when I got to the store and liked what I saw. Decided to pull the trigger. The Veronicas. 20th anniversary of that album. The next one is one that I had seen talked about. I don't remember where I saw it talked about, but I saw this talked about somewhere that it was coming out, and I decided to grab it. People know I'm a huge U2 fan as well. I love U2 and anything that they do. And this is the visionary collaboration by U2 and Brian Eno called Passengers, the original soundtrack's #1. Limited edition 30th anniversary RSD exclusive remastered album. 2-time heavyweight recycled black vinyl, and it's all these recycled black vinyls now. Featuring Miss Sarajevo. And bonus track, Bottoms. I can't even pronounce this. Watashitachi no Okinawa. I can't even pronounce it. Zoo Station remix. But anyway, Passengers, 2 LP set. Passengers, the Brian Eno U2 collaboration soundtrack album. So happy to pick that one up. That was one that was in the back of my mind, and when I saw it and had a good look at it, I decided to pull the trigger on that one. Then the last thing I picked up for Record Store Day, the final one, was the third album I bought over at Rick's Recollections, and it was the 4th and final one of my must-haves for this year's Record Store Day. Everybody knows I get the Jazz Dispensaries. I've got every Jazz Dispensary Record Store Day release so far that they've ever done, and this year was no exception. And I picked this one up, Rick's. They actually didn't have this one at PCB, so happy to pick this one up over at Rick's. And it is this year's Jazz Dispensary called Neon Lights, featuring Yusuf Lateef, Coleman Hawkins, Kenny Burrell, Gene Emmons. Oh, we got Willis Jackson on here, the Frank West Quartet, Eddie Lockjaw Davis. As people know, these are jazz and funk and soul, whatever they decide to do with the theme of. This looks like a jazz one, jazz collaboration. So Neon Lights by Jazz Dispensary. I have never been disappointed really with any Jazz Dispensary Record Store Day release, and I'm sure this one will be just as great as all the others. So happy to get that. And those are my records. I got a dozen albums and 1 single. My usual haul on Record Store Day every year. I don't know why I do it every year, but I do. And a lot of times, you play some of these albums one time and then they get filed away in my Record Store Day bin over there. But I'm a collector. It's nice to have some of these things. So I'm very happy with my Record Store Day. There's nothing else I really need from the list. I got the maybe the 4 things I super wanted, and I got another 8 things that were maybes and looked good at the time and whatnot. But I did pick up one other thing on Record Store Day that has nothing to do with Record Store Day. It was released 1 week ago. This came out 1 week ago, and I was debating pulling the trigger on it because it's very, very pricey, very expensive. But PCB had it at a really good price, a lot cheaper than anywhere else I've seen it. So I decided to pull the trigger on it when I saw it at PCB for Record Store Day, and for their Record Store Day sale, considerably cheaper than anywhere else that I've seen this. I decided to pull the trigger on it. This came out a week ago. It is the box set, the Rush 50 vinyl box set, not the CD box set, and not the super deluxe version. This is just strictly how many LPs is this? 7 LP slide-in jacket. box set, Rush 50. And I decided to pull the trigger on this because there's quite a few things I have by Rush that I'm missing by Rush on vinyl. I mean, I have pretty much all their early stuff from the first album right up to, I guess, Grace Under Pressure. I have everything, all those albums, though I don't have any of the Rush live albums, and I don't have anything on vinyl after Grace Under Pressure. So I would say at least over half of this box set I don't have in any format. Like I said, there's a lot of live material on here that I don't have at all. So I was happy to get this because definitely well over half of this box set I don't have in any format. So it was worth it for me to get this nice collection, Rush 50, their 50th anniversary. Let's see what it says. First ever complete career retrospective, celebrating 50 years on 7 LPs, 1974 to 2024. 50 tracks with 7 unreleased tracks. Not Fade Away and You Can't Fight It. First single reissued for the first time. So lots of stuff here. Live stuff with John Rutsley here. And the final performance in Los Angeles of 2015 with Neil Peart. So I'm really quite happy to pick this. And like I said, I got this for a really good price. Well below what it is currently going for. And it only came out a week ago. It was only released a week ago. And I got it for well under what they are going for. So it was a no-brainer to finally to add this, because I was ho-humming, should I get it, shouldn't I get it, is it worth the money? And for the price I got it for, it was definitely worth the money. And so I grabbed that. Though not a Record Store Day release, I bought it this Record Store Day. And that's it, that's all. That's my Record Store Day 2025. I will see you guys all very soon. I think I've got another concert video coming up that I'll be releasing in the next week. That's coming to my channel, and I don't know what. We'll see. I'll see you guys sometime in the future. Until then, happy Record Store, everybody. And as I always say, rock and roll.